All right, welcome everyone. I'm Rob Tetrault. I'm half of the Running Journey podcast. This is the other half, my brother Charlie.
Hello.
Hello. Haven't seen you in forever.
Yeah, it's been a while. I was 44 last time I saw you.
Now you're officially in a much easier age category for the rest of your life. Well, for a while.
I just gained 10 minutes on my.
Just gained 10 minutes in Boston.
Yeah, no problem.
Old man Charlie had his birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, Charlie.
Yeah. What about your birthday? You gonna talk about that or what?
My birthday is today. So yeah, thanks, Charlie. I feel like do you feel like birthdays were never a big thing in our family? It's kind of like so anticlimactic. Does your wife do a big thing for your birthday?
No, because she knows me, but she used to try, but yeah. No, not really. How about you?
Not really. No, nothing. But Diego Diggsy was having a housewarming, and it's his birthday, so we share a birthday. So I went over there. I said hi to everyone, and I came back. It's been a while since we recorded. It's been 2 weeks. So there's been a lot of miles on the bike for you. A lot of miles on the bike for you. When we last recorded, I was telling you about so in this episode, we're going to talk about I have some questions for Charlie about his bike training. I ran 100K race. I also ran the virtual marathon, the Calgary virtual marathon.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That counts.
Yeah. No, I just, I don't know. It wouldn't be my first choice of something to do on a Sunday, casually do on a Sunday morning. But I mean, yeah.
Dude, you know what I wish I was doing today? I wish I would have ran like 100K today. Something must be wrong with me because I was like, why didn't I go and run 100K today? Because I did it last weekend, but I was like, I had nothing to do all day. I could have just gone.
I don't think you can do that every week.
Ryan Keeping's doing 75 every day.
Okay.
I'm not saying I'm Ryan Keeping by any stretch, but some people could do it. Some people could for sure do 100K every week. On a weekend. I know I'm not those guys.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed my 100K is what I'm getting at. And I had a bike today. I had a bike I don't know why Patrick puts bikes in there. I guess he wants to cross train. I guess he wants me to recover from
from running 100K.
Yeah. So I guess he's cross training me. So I did that. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. I was going to say, let's get to the 100K. Let's talk about
Okay. Well, first I need to talk about my unbelievable performance in the Calgary Marathon.
Oh, right. Yeah. That was good. Last Saturday. Last Saturday, that was?
It was Sunday.
No, that was... No,
Sunday,
it was
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks. It was a week before your 100K.
The day after our triathlon in St. Malo, I went out and I did a marathon. But I did it in the same way that I was going to try to do my 100K. Well, same way. No, different. But... just nice and slow. Don't look at your watch and just listen to podcasts. And I just went out and I ran 42.2 kilometers. I went around. I came back home. I actually really, really enjoyed my morning. And when I came home, my wife was like, "What? How did your jog go?" Or whatever she always says when I come back home. I said, good. And then she was a little confused, like, "What time did you get up this morning?" Because she's like, "You've been gone for a while." So she kind of figured it out on her own. Like, did you do a marathon today? Like, did you go drinking with your buddies? Did you do a marathon today? I was like, yeah, I did. I did a marathon today, but that was fun. And then the 100K, I was supposed to do it today. I wanted to do it today because I thought it would give me a little more time to recover. I knew we had the Sail Up 200 this weekend, and I thought but as it turns out, last weekend, I had nothing on my weekend, and we had a long weekend. We had Canada Day long weekend. So I kind of pulled an audible and I switched at the buzzer and I switched to doing the 100K last weekend. I did it on this Sunday. Those of you that have been following the podcast know I've wanted to do this for a long time, and I think I'm half decent at it, or I could be good at it, and I enjoy it. So I wanted to do it. So I just went out and did it.
Yeah, I think that actually turned out you were good because the forecast, I know you had said it was hot today. I did my 15 miler, and I think this week would have been harder than the week before. I think it was hot and sunny.
For sure.
It was 24 when I did my run at 10:30 a.m.
Yeah, and it went all the way to
getting my heat training in.
Yeah, I ended up spending the whole day in the pool with the kids after my bike, and it was a great pool day, which means there's a direct correlation and a reverse correlation how good the pool day is to how good of a running day it is.
Yeah. Good pool days are not good run days.
Good pool days, never good running days. So I'm glad I switched it, because when I looked
at unless you want to do heat training. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I guess if you're like Tyler Mislachuk and you're getting ready for the Olympics or whatever. I looked at the heat. It was a high of 30 today when I looked at it last week, and last weekend was a high of 21. So way different if you're running in 21 versus if you're running in 30. Now it ended up cooling down today, and I think it only hit 26 or something.
Yeah, it was hot early though.
Yeah. That means I would have been up at 4:30 and I would have been cooking by the time 10 o'clock rolled around, right? Yeah, no, I'd have been cooking before that. So anyways, I did my 100K last week. I ended up doing 4 aid stations. I did an aid station in LaBroquerie at Derek's house. So that was about 9 miles in, because I took the back roads. I went 12.10. Then I had an aid station in St. Anne, Manitoba. So that was maybe 20 miles in or something like that, 21 miles in. Then I had an aid station in Lorette, which was that was long that was like 35, I think, miles. So that was another 15 miles. That was my longest stretch between St. Anne and Lorette.
20 to 35.
I think it was 21 to 35. Yeah, 14.
That's a long stretch without having an aid station.
Yeah, and I wasn't jogging super fast, right? And then I had...
But still, that's 15 miles?
Yeah, I think it might have been 14.
That's 14. I did my run today in the heat with no water, and I was thirsty after.
How long did it take you today, or what was on the menu for you today? We'll get back to my 100K.
It was just like a long run with a 4-mile fast finish, but it was hot.
So you're doing fast finish right now?
Yeah, I guess I'm training for this half Ironman, I guess.
And that's part of it, I guess.
I feel like I don't really know how to run anymore, but
you're such a terrible runner. You're such a
I feel like I'm not so bad today. I kind of felt really slow after it. Like I wasn't slow, but I just felt like my heart rate was like 178 at the end of the fast finish.
But that's good. You went hard.
So I felt like I'm not kind of out of shape, but then I realized it was, then I didn't realize how hot it was till I checked the thermometer after, like the weather after, and it was, so that kind of gave me an excuse for
no water. You did the entire 15 miles
and no water. No water and the heat. Yeah. So
why would you just wear the tiny belt for a day like today? Like that small belt with 600 mils, just at least
trying to reduce the overhead. Workout overhead. So I just went out. I didn't even think. I just like whatever. I just went out.
Like you used to do back in the day. Water's for losers. Drinking water's for losers. Gels are for losers.
I feel like anything under 20 miles, I don't really worry about water for training runs. But
I know you're like that, and I'm like that too a little bit. But now that we know so much, I wouldn't do 15 miles on a day like today. I would.
Yeah. No, I didn't realize how hot it was. Was the thing. Yeah, I thought it. I knew it was warm, but I didn't think it was that hot.
This morning, we'll get back to my 100K. But this morning, I got up, slept in, and I was like, "Hey, who wants to go to the beach?" I was going to take the kids to the beach, Birds Hill, and I was going to do my bike.
There was a bike race today, right, or something?
I don't know. Was there?
I saw a guy said he was in a bike race at Birds Hill on Strava today.
No, I was just going to go do my loops at Birds Hill like the old days. But nobody was ready. It was taking forever. And I was like, okay, well, I got to get this bike in. So
yeah,
I just went in the basement and hammered it out like the old days. I think it would have, like, had I been going around Birds Hill on a day like today, by the time I would have got there, it would have been the afternoon. I would have had a lot of water on the bumper there.
Yeah, that's a lot of workout overhead when you got to go to Birds Hill.
Yeah, Plus, I don't have the bike rack like you do. I have to like undo my bike, put it in parts, and then my back seat. And no,
Can't you just take one wheel off and put it in there?
I can.
Yeah,
That's undoing my bike, is it not?
Yeah, but the front wheel takes 2 seconds.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I could just do the front wheel. Simo was like,
Simo crushed his workouts on Saturday. Anyways,
yeah, he had a good day. He's like, oh, that's a long time to be on a trainer. I was like, that I did my entire first year of training exclusively on the trainer. And I saw Rita Bourgeois today, and she's like, oh,
who's that?
How many? What's that?
Who's that? I don't know.
Sill's mom.
Oh, I get it. Okay.
She's been biking.
Yeah, I never met her, but I know her.
Yeah, she's a big supporter of what we do and listens and whatever. So she was saying she's training for 130K, I want to say, and she'd be like, I don't know how old she is, but she's Sill's mom. Sill's in his 30s, so I don't know. She's got to be in her 50s. So this is a late stage learning a new sport for her, and like she's kind of starting all over. And and she said she averaged I think 23 kilometers an hour this morning. She did 90K this morning, so she was very, very proud of that. So but then I told her, oh yeah, I did. She asked me if I bike, and I said I actually biked this morning. Oh, what'd you do? I said whatever I did. And she goes, oh, where'd you go? I said I did in my basement. And she goes, why on earth would anyone choose to bike in their basement if they can go outside? What are you, stupid, kind of thing? Overhead. It's a lot easier to just go downstairs.
Reduce the overhead. Yeah, I thought about it a couple times. There's a lot of overhead, but it is way more enjoyable to do it outside.
And then she was upset at me because I told her I didn't have an aid station after Ile de Chêne. I said, I really would have needed someone like in Sage
That was
Creek,
probably not very well planned. No, and she's actually your St. Anne to Lorette is even worse, is as bad. Planning wise.
Yeah. The pace I was going.
Next time you do it, you can do it right the next time. So
I think what I would do it, I think I would just literally leave a bottle at the sign at Dufresne, a bottle of scratch water with some scratch in it.
Yeah, it's not Marchand, so it probably won't get stolen.
A callback reference to the stolen water bottle in Marchand when we did our race. That's great. We didn't have any water that day either.
20 miles, 20
miles, fast finish.
Yeah, but it was
the best workout ever. Probably our best.
That was one of my best workouts ever. Yeah.
Yeah, no water. 20 miles.
Till I did my 3.5 hour bike ride a week ago.
Okay, but to this day, to me that was one of my best also ever, and one of your best ever.
It was my best run work. I think my best run. Well, I had a 25 miler right before Boston, which was pretty good too.
Yeah, 25 milers. Quick tangent.
Good.
We've been on a lot of tangents, but that's okay. That's what this is all about. Todd, our buddy Todd, who listens to the podcast, has been asking you about your opinion about his training plan, because obviously you know more than all these guys that are building training plans. Yeah. He does respect your knowledge a lot.
I know about what's worked for me, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I know what's worked for me, and I think he values our opinion. But you told him, maybe you should consider doing a little bit. I forget what you said, but something about Rob and I believe that you should do longer than 20 miles if you're trying to really do a fast time. We were doing.
I mean, as long as you don't kill. The thing that I didn't add is as long as you don't kill yourself doing it, right?
Yeah, like I know now I can do 100K, so 25 miles is not going to kill me for me. But you don't want to do you don't want to do like 16-mile fast finish.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like maybe if you leave 8 miles, you do like 16 miles easy, and then
16 miles easy, and then like an 8-mile fast finish or 7-mile fast finish with a mile warm up, a mile cool down. That's 25 miles. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, I mean a lot like that wouldn't be for someone doing their first marathon. Someone maybe more.
No, but Todd's is experienced, and he's done several.
I'd say that'd be probably pretty good for him. Yeah,
he's aiming for a BQ, and he specifically said he has a hard time from 35 to 42 there. That's a tough spot for him. So
yeah,
like more miles, more training in that window would help. So Yes, okay. So the morning I ended up switching my 100K from July 7th to June 30th or whatever I chose finally. And the morning, the night
it
before,
was the day before Canada Day. Yeah, okay.
the day before Canada, I knew I had a day off the next day, and I had a feeling I didn't know what I would look like. Like tomorrow, I have a busy day at the office, so I was like,
yeah, I think you made the right call to have it on a day that you have a day off at the next day. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons. The temperature was one of the reasons. Plus, I just wanted to get it done, and I knew that the earlier I did it, the quicker I could get to my build for Chicago, right? Because my next thing now is Chicago. I'm building towards Chicago. Although Patrick hasn't given me any real, I think he
wants you to recover for a couple of weeks. I think that's probably a good idea to not hurry it.
Yeah, I haven't done any fast miles since it's been a while.
Yeah, I don't think there's any hurry to get those done, but yeah.
I'm still jogging, like I would say quite a bit, but I'm jogging, but yeah. So anyways, I'm very pleased with my decision. So I called Derek, I called Ray LaFleche in St. Anne, and I was going to call Ryan Brand, but turns out he got married last weekend. So big shout out to Ryan Brand.
Congrats on getting married.
Yeah, he just got married. So I sent him a note the morning of. I said, enjoy your day or whatever. He sent me a photo of the old like groomsmen getting the bow ties put on or whatever. It was looked like it was an exciting morning for him. So shout out to Ryan Brand, got married. So I ended up going to Ray LaFleche's, and then I had my nephew in Lorette, and then I was going backwards and south, the wrong direction, to Ile des Chênes, just because I needed to do a few extra miles. Because Marchand, our parents' place in Marchand to Winnipeg, shortest route, I think is 83 kilometers or 84 kilometers, something like that. So I needed to add about 16 kilometers to make it 100. I wanted to finish right at my doorstep in Winnipeg. So what I did is I added about 2 miles. Like me to Derek was too short. So I added about 2 miles there just so that it'd be a little longer to the first aid station, because I knew I wouldn't need that first aid station, right? Like first aid station, you never feel like you need to eat or drink. So I wanted to stretch that. In theory, what I should have done is lengthen the first aid station and shorten the second one. But I mean, I don't know. I would have had to do like Giroux. Giroux would have been a better stop for the first aid station.
Craig Champagne,
or maybe
I don't know if he still lives there.
What about
Roy Sidler?
Yeah, what's the umpire there? His son that used to play baseball with us.
Oh, Rod Sproul.
Yeah, and his boys, Kevin and
Kevin Sproul. Yeah,
Kevin Sproul. Yeah. They used to live in Giroux. Yeah. We're just naming people we know that live in Giroux. This is the podcast. Name people we know.
Roger Martel. Roger Martel.
Amy Kraft. Anyways, so La Broquerie, St. Anne, Lorette, Ile des Chênes, and then I was like, I got nothing from Ile des Chênes to Winnipeg, but it's only 43 miles. So I had 19 miles left. So 19 is what, 30 kilometers?
Yeah. It's a significant amount.
Just over 30 kilometers. And I figured, it's only 30 kilometers. I should be fine. So that was also a mistake. And then when I saw Rita today, she's like, why didn't you? I live in Windsor Park. Why didn't you ask me? I would have loved to be your aid station. And I said, next time I'll ask her to do it. But it was, I ended up it's funny because I talked to Tanya, our sister, and she came to see me and she's like, oh, how'd your 100K go? And I was like, pretty good. And she's like, yeah, I knew you wouldn't have a hard time with it. And just kind of brushed it off like it wasn't even a big deal or anything. I was like really proud of what I did. And she's like, I knew you'd have no problem doing it. Like, I knew you'd kill it. What would it take you? I said, 12 hours. She goes, yeah, that's pretty good. Anyways, can we talk about, like, she was just like, matter of fact. Meanwhile, Claude, our dad, was at the opposite end of the spectrum. He was worried about me. I don't know why he was so worried about me. I don't get it. Did you talk to him that day?
Yeah, I talked to him a little bit on that day. Yeah.
So I left at 4:30. I chatted with you about it.
He said he went and talked to you. He talked to you at some point.
Exactly at the halfway point. He saw me at mile 31.
He said, oh, he's not doing well. He told me that. He said, Robert's not doing well. I said, no, he'll be all right. That's what I said. But I was like, it's hard, but he'll be all right.
It's 100K. What am I supposed to do? Sing songs and click my heels? And And that they saw me at one of the worst parts because that was the long stretch between St. Anne and Lorette. It was a bit of a long stretch there because you go.
So it was actually great timing where they saw you.
Their stop was fantastic timing.
Yeah.
And initially I told mom texted me. I said, I don't need support. I wanted to kind of do it self-supported.
Yeah.
Not really self-supported but I had dropped off food at all the places. I'd spread out my gels. I'd spread out my bars. I'd prepared a bottle of Scratch for each of the stations. I'd made a plan. I had an Excel spreadsheet, and I had I wanted to have 75 grams of carbs, 300 calories, and 600 mLs of water every hour. That was my plan. And I mapped it out, and I knew how I was going to get there. I kind of picked the food I was going to eat at each aid station. And what do you think happened, Charlie? Throw the plan out the window, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
You think you want to eat something, and then you actually don't. You eat something else, and then
the plan is good till you get punched in the face, or something like that.
That's a phenomenal. Is that Muhammad Ali? No, Mike Tyson.
No, Mike Tyson.
Yeah. I kind of kept to the plan for most of the part, but then mom's like, I want to come. We're going to come see you. And I said, don't worry about it, Mom. I'm fine. And she was texting me, no, we want to come see you. We want to come see how you're doing. I was like, I'm fine. So finally I said, okay, if you're coming, bring some Vaseline. And then I said, and some water and some that blueberry crumble you made last night, because I slept in Marchand, right? And might as well bring the lasagna too that you made last night. All of a sudden I was craving like real food, right?
Yeah.
So they stopped on the side of the highway exactly at the halfway point, exactly at mile 31, kilometer 50. And I just sat on the bumper and I just ate the entire thing. I ate the entire thing of lasagna. It must have been 1,000 calories. I ate the entire thing of lasagna, the entire thing of blueberry crumble. So like a big, like it was, and then I drank a ton of water. I sat back down, got up and went, and I had no problem jogging. Like, I don't understand how my body's getting really good at eating and jogging and drinking and jogging. I'm impressed with myself, because I was, in a way, I thought I'm going to have to walk 10 minutes here, because that's what Joel said. Joel said that when he does ultras, he walks for 5 or 10 minutes after the aid stations to let himself digest, right?
Yeah.
But I was,
makes sense. Seems
I felt good still. And then that was at mile 30. And then I saw you and then you were just driving to Winnipeg, I guess?
Yeah, I had to go back I was in St. Lob the day before, helping set up for an event there. And then I just had to go back to see my kids and stuff. And I said, I'll stop by on the way. Yeah.
And you swung by at mile 42, which was
right before you had your next aid station. So
right before my next aid station. But I was still pumped to see you, because I was just like, I don't know, you like seeing humans. Like it's this human interaction. Plus you gave me the cheater food.
Well, I thought I'd go with different things, because what I've heard from like ultras and stuff. I'm no ultra. Don't know anything about ultras. I've read about them and I've like seen videos about them, so it sounds interesting. But so I got you a Snickers bar. You had mentioned that in your first Ironman that you didn't eat the Snickers bar, so I figured that'd be your favorite. And
to this day, one of my biggest regrets is not eating that king size Snickers bar that I put in my needs bag at the Ironman. Why didn't I eat that Snickers bar?
Yeah, I don't.
And then you remember that story and you brought it. And I saw your Snickers bar and I just started laughing. I was like, Charlie.
Yeah, and then I brought you a big can of Red Bull too. So
what was that? 600 mils of Red Bull? 700 mils of Red Bull?
I think maybe
it was a big
450 or something. Yeah, it was a big. It wasn't the ones.
No, it was the biggest can of Red Bull I'd ever seen. And I don't drink coffee, and I don't ever drink Red Bull unless I'm doing races. Ironmans really is the only time. So I immediately crushed half that can of Red Bull, and you're like, maybe slow down a little bit on the Red Bull. So then I poured the rest into my 300 ml, and then I poured that into the Gatorade. So what ended up happening with the rest of the Red Bull? So I got a kick right away. And then the rest of the other half was diluted into that Gatorade. You bought me a bottle of Gatorade too, like the heavy stuff, the sugar Gatorade, the whatever it's called, not the zero, like the sugar one.
Yeah.
The thick stuff, and it was so good. So I was out of water there when I met you. But then, okay, I had food lined up at the aid station at my aunt's. By the time I got to my aunt's, I had made myself some pasta with some sausage and stuff, and I couldn't eat it. So I left it there. But I had given myself 6 gels at Matin Simon's. I had 19 miles left, 6 gels and a couple bars. And I said, worst case, if you can't eat, if you can't do anything, you have 1 gel every 3 miles, you will be fine. You're not going to bonk. I thought. I don't know. Maybe you disagree, but if I have 1 gel every,
you're probably good with 1 every 3 miles. Yeah.
I told Joel this. He goes, "You would have been fine without any gels." I said, "Really? Like another?"
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think I agree with Joel. Like you would maybe not fine, but like you would have gotten there for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't want to like.
It helps to know that you've got it, right?
Yeah, and that like just took one of the worries, just because I don't know, man. It's like an Ironman. You're trying to do the math in your head: calories, carbs, water, and you're like, "Am I eating enough? Am I drinking enough?" It's a bit of a stress. Like, you don't want to screw it up.
I was on my bike ride and I was testing stuff out, and yeah, I don't know.
Today, this week.
This week, yeah, my bike ride from this week, yeah.
You're trying to get you're trying to see how much.
I'm trying to figure out what's my like limit on how much carbs I can I figure the more you can get, the better. But yeah,
I would totally agree. And I don't think, again, I'm not an expert of this. I've only ever done 3 ultras, if you count the one in Salt Lake City. But I know that you want to eat. That's for sure. You definitely need food and nutrition and hydration. So I figured if I at least have a gel every 3 miles, I'm going to be fine. Food wise, I just need enough water, because by then, I don't want to say it was scorching, but for me, it felt hot. It was 22 or whatever, and the sun was out, and it felt hot. I'd been up since 4:30, and now the sun was out. It was starting to feel hot, and I was feeling fine mentally. It was like, there's nothing going to stop me. And that Red Bull really helped, because it gave me like a bolt, like a jolt of inspiration. And I had a bit of doubts at the only time I doubted myself was kind of between kilometer 30, so maybe a little bit before St. Anne. I was like, yikes, the sun was coming out. Still got 70 kilometers, like that's a long ways to go. And I don't want to say I was starting to tire, but because I started doing 10.5-minute miles. And you and I had talked about what pace would you do it. And I wanted to just do it nice and slow, kind of 12 to 14 hours was my goal. Kind of, I didn't really have a goal, but the worst thing is, as soon as I started running, I made myself a goal, which is not what I should have done. I wanted to just finish it. Just make sure you finish this race. I wanted to enjoy it, so I didn't want it to be painful at the end. I wanted to just make sure I finished. So 10.5-minute miles is what I started. And Joel gave me the last words of wisdom. He said, make hay when the sun is shining, or whatever. Like, when you're able to run, get some miles in, and knock them off early on, because if you walk all those and you end up hurting later, you miss an opportunity to get some miles in. He's not sure if he's right either, but that's the advice he gave. And that's kind of what I did. 10.5-minute miles to start. And then, without actually noticing, it went to 11-minute miles. I was just trying to stay slow. I was just trying to stay slow at a pace I thought I could jog forever. That was my thought. And I was watching my heart rate, because remember, you had said, I think I would do it that every hour I'd give myself a limit for the heart rate. Now, I never did that, but I was kind of doing it in the back of my mind. Yeah. So 120 for the first 2 hours, 125 for the next 2, 130. And it actually worked. Every time it was getting a little harder. It's not like it wasn't because I was, it was just because I was more tired. So I would just naturally slow down. So my miles just slowed down throughout the day. I started at 10:30, then went to 11. I did a whole lot.
But they didn't really so they slowed down, but compared to, I think, what normally people would do in 100K, you barely slowed down.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. I guess. Yeah. I mean, my last miles were 12-minute miles, right?
Yeah.
So I started at 10:30 and I finished at 12.
Yeah. But you were walking, your overall miles are about the same. I don't know. Anyways, I'd have to look at it.
No, I didn't walk. Yeah,
you did. You walked less at the end, is what I'm saying. Or you didn't walk the whole time.
I didn't walk at all. I walked the 8 stations.
Oh, okay. You didn't walk.
Well, I didn't. I walked like around the house at La Fleche's, around
Derek's
house.
When you saw people, you took breaks, but
when I saw you, I took a break. But there was no walking.
You kept running the whole time. Wow.
I ran the whole time. Yeah. Yeah, there was a few times.
I thought maybe you had taken a couple. I would definitely take some walk breaks if it was me, but yeah.
No, I didn't want to stop because it was harder to restart. There's maybe 2 or 3 times between and Grand Point there on that highway in the back where I like took my water out, and it was a little hard to, so I just walked while I was drinking, and I just took like 20 seconds, 30 seconds. I did that a few times, but no, I think my heart rate finished at 140, something like that. I averaged, I don't know, in the mid 120s or high 120s maybe. And there was never a doubt after that doubt at kilometer 30, I knew, okay, I'm going to finish this. And then once I got to 50, once I saw Claude Nanette there and I crushed all that food, and there, I knew there was no stopping me then. And I knew I had the gel strategy in the back pocket. The one thing I screwed up is the amount of liquid that I needed, the amount of water that I needed. Because I had 2 300s on my belt. I had a spot for my scratch on my belt. So that was a 710. Every aid station, I had a pre-made bottle of scratch with 2 scoops of scratch in it. So like 2 gels in each bottle. So those are each 90 cals, I think, or maybe 100 cals plus 25 grams of carbs. So I had 200 cals. That in theory could have been almost enough for each hour, right? Yeah. But I was stretching it out. I wasn't seeing the aid stations enough. So is the liquid.
I don't know. I was short on like that. I would need way more water, I think.
No, for sure. But what I was doing, I would drink my 300, my 600, and my 710, and then that has to take me to the next aid station, and then I would drink a ton. At Ray La Fleche's, I drank like 4 glasses of water, 5 glasses of water. I refilled everything, and I went out again. So I always had about 1.5 liters on me. Okay. But 1.5 liters wasn't enough to get.
But when you have to do 15 miles,
it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. I would have needed more. So then the parents came. That was good. And then I didn't have enough to get from Grand Point, to get from Ile de Chêne back roads to the city. My plan, and I knew that I didn't have enough for that. My plan was I was going to stop at a Tim Hortons or a gas station or whatever and just buy a 1 liter.
Buy a dozen donuts. And
also thought about doing that. And then I was all like worried because I had no shirt, right? I did the whole thing without a shirt. I was thinking, are they going to give me a hard time here for not having a shirt? I just want to buy a liter of water. So I don't want to say I was figuring that out. My plan C was St. Vital Park. I knew I could stop at St. Vital Park. They have water. You could fill up water there. So
there's a couple of spots. Yeah.
But I hadn't mapped it out too well. But then what happened is Michelle came. My wife came with the kids about 6 or 7 miles out. And just to visit, just to say hi, because I think Claude was freaking out, and Claude was like, "Hey, go check on your husband. He's probably dead by the side of the road." This is my Claude voice. That's my dad voice. "Hey, your husband's probably dead. I would go check on him." So she went to the van, drove, gave me 2 bottles of water, and then I crushed those, and I said, "You know what? I still have 6 miles to go. Any chance you can go to the Tim Hortons, buy me another one?" So she bought me so I was 3 bottles of water short. I mean, I probably could have finished. It wouldn't have been great, but anyways, so it's in the books, Charlie, and it was fun, and it worked out, and there were very few problems. And I mean, all I have to do next time is just I could even leave one of those coolers, put some ice in it, and with a couple balls of water next to a sign, or hide it in the ditch somewhere, and then just have someone pick it up. But almost fully self-sustained. I know you came, I know the parents came, and I know Michelle came, but it was close to self-sustain. I did shout out to all the people who helped me out, but I got it done, and now I've got 100K under my belt, and I know I could do another one. And it's funny, Derek's like, I got a text from Derek and from Grains that night. He's like, "So there you go, you did 100K. That's all you got to do every day for 70 days, and you can run across Canada." I was like, "Grains, I can't move."
70 days.
Yeah, the next day I couldn't move. It was Ironman level soreness. It was. I was so sore the next day. I spent the whole day in the hot tub. There's no way I could have possibly run another 100K. 5K would have been tough. I was really, 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 really sore. So I'm not in shape to do back-to-back 100Ks, that's for sure. But I can do one. So work on that. It was fun. Thanks for coming around, Charlie, for
congratulations.
Yeah. And it was awesome that it wasn't a race. It was like it's just me running, so it doesn't really matter the time. Although I was gunning for 12 hours for a bit.
You finished first.
What's that?
Out of one. You finished.
I did finish first. One. Yeah, bib number 1, finished first. Yeah, first place. Yeah. And
maybe next year you'll do it with a couple of different people.
Yeah, I think the next iteration of the Marchand 100, which is what my kids called it, they made me a medal and they called it the Marchand 100.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I think the next iteration will be like, I want to have it in a cold month. Like I want to do it like in April or something.
Oh, but that'd
or
be
March.
Too easy.
Too easy.
Yeah.
It'd be like cheating.
Yeah, it's a cheater 100K. Okay, I'm losing the signal. I think I lost you. Anyways, congrats on that.
I think I'm frozen. Do you hear me?
Oh, you're back. I can hear you again.
I do want to talk about all your heavy miles and what's happening with you and how you're feeling. And I want to talk about that half Ironman that you have coming up.
Yeah, well, do you want to quickly talk about the old Tom that or the not the old Tom, the backyard that happened in Manitoba? You want to talk about that? Did you go watch it? Oh, we lost you again.
No, hear me now? No.
Oh, I can hear you now. Yeah.
You hear me now?
I guess. Yeah. I guess you got too many kids that are streaming stuff right now or something. I can hear you. No, I can't. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, you hear me?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, I didn't go watch. We had our buddy Alain. Now you lost me. Okay.
Oh, you're back on. Do you want to cut it off and then? Yeah, you're back on. Do you want to restart it or something? Or?
I'm gonna go to a different device. Give me 2 minutes, okay?
Okay. I'm gonna go through the standings of the backyard while you're doing that. So, congrats to the winner, Justin Davey. I don't know who that is. Greg Penner, great runner, 240 marathoner. I think he was ex-pro cyclist. He was actually on my cycling team, Zwift cycling team this winter. Great guy, gave me lots of advice for the Boston Marathon. Hyojin Lee finished third, 25 loops completed. I don't really know who that is, but he's obviously a good runner. Brett Mankey, seen his name around, don't know who that is. Congrats to Dorothea Schultz, 20 loops she did. So top female. Devin Weeb, Leander Clausen, Devin Bartel, Brett Gavrilov, Terrence Penner, Andrew Pickerel, Tyler Pavola, don't know who that is. Alexander Sharp, Vince Vandesalar, Joel Lamoureux, Lindsay Lee, Mike Thiessen, Justin Legare. So that, I believe I know him. I think he was the coach for my kids' soccer team a couple years back. Didn't know he ran.
No, I didn't know either. He reached out to me just a little bit before the race and just thanked me he gave me the old thanks for being an inspiration kind of thing. I was like, oh, what's your next race? He said, the backyard. I was like, dude, you're an inspiration.
Yeah. So he did 14 loops. So that's 60 miles. That's crazy. Wow. I didn't know he ran. Okay. Are you still there? Yeah, lost him. I'll keep going. John Sneesby, don't know who that is. Carly Isaac, Irene Plett, Stephen Hall, Ellen Gorter, Tara Loader, David Bergbush, Mike Branconier, Kurt Reimer, Brianne Peters, Alexander Panilla, Tim Penner, Clint Vanderstein, Elizabeth Stace. So don't know her. I know her husband. He's on my hockey team. So congrats to her. Jarrett Jaworski, Janet Rodewald, Corey Clark, Danae Penner. I'm just going through the list of the people that were in the Old Tom. Okay, so you're back. You can hear me?
Yeah, do you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. So I was just going through the list. I think we were at Danae Penner, don't know him. Timothy Preston, Cameron Cherison, Kevin Petkow from Arborg, don't know him. Matt Morrison, Rene Desjardins, Alain Fodor. So I think you know him pretty. Yeah, you know him pretty well. He usually does really well at the Frozen Falcon. He did 6 loops. So that's 25 miles. Jordan Gotten, Jordan McLean, Shannon Sawatsky. She was also on my cycling team at some point, if I remember. I think. I'm not 100% sure. Alan Francis, Cody Cleve, Lisa Siemens, and Megan McKenzie. So congrats to all those participants from the Old Tom Backyard.
Yeah, did you have anything? We got to do this. We got to do this, right?
Next year, maybe.
You may have less. Like, is that too long for you to do like 100? Because, or would you?
Yeah, it's too long. It's too long.
So, quick story. So, Michelle and I are going to Scotland, right? We're leaving and we're going on a trip. And she told me that she really likes this castle. And of course, when I go on trips, I look at all the races, right?
Yeah.
And there was a race in Pitockery, and I almost signed up for it, but then I saw, it's a backyard. So I'm not going to do a backyard, right? Because like,
well, you're going to be running for 3 days, right? No, I'm kidding.
But I was thinking. So anyway, we kind of booked a place right next to where the backyard is, and we'll be there at the
Should we explain what a backyard is?
Yeah.
Do you think everyone knows? I think everyone knows what it is, or no?
I think we have in the past, but go again.
Yeah. You go. You know it better.
Okay, so it's hour loops where you must do 4.16 miles, and that's on the hour. Every hour you must do 4.16 miles. The bell rings, you got to get up to the start line and you got to go, and you have to finish your 4.16 miles every hour. And when you can't do it anymore, you're out. You sit down, you take a break, you can't continue.
So I had a question. Let's say you do a loop, you go hard for one loop, or relatively hard, and you do one in like 38 minutes or 35 minutes, okay? And you want to use that loop to sleep. So could you just go and put yourself in the starting area, fall asleep, and then get your crew member or whatever to wake you up, and then you just roll over the starting line and then keep sleeping for another 10 minutes or something?
Maybe.
Is that a legal thing, or how would that work?
I think the spirit of the rule, I believe, says you must start running on the bell, but maybe we'll get a backyard. Maybe we'll get someone on the show who's actually done one and can explain to us further. I know that you can't back to back them, but if you did it that way, you slept right by the start line. You kind of
just roll over the start line,
and then you just went back to bed, and you would have basically.
And someone wakes you up 10 minutes from.
Oh, that would be like Dancing with the Devil a little bit, though, eh? Like, imagine 5 more minutes.
Well, I would imagine. So the record is what, like 500 miles or 400?
It is 112 loops.
So like almost
516 miles. Or something. Like 4.5 days. More than 4.5 days.
Yeah, almost 500 miles. So like, I feel like you kind of maybe need a bit of sleep in there. Like, I guess you can get your 10 minutes in every here and there, but.
So I think. If ever I got to be good at this sport, I'm good at sleeping like that. That's one of the skills that I would benefit from. Like, I can fall asleep on an airplane. I could fall asleep in a train ride, on a car ride, in a subway. Every movie I've ever gone to in the history of my life. So if it were me and I was doing it, I would sleep whatever I could every loop, 10, 20 minutes. Maybe you can't sleep every loop because then your rhythm would be.
Well, at the beginning, you'd be a little too amped up, I think so. But maybe.
Yeah. But those guys, most of those guys, like the vast majority, didn't make it to like 2 a.m., right?
So there were 3 people who made it over 20, and the winner 26, Justin Davey.
Yeah. So Joel was saying the tough part of all these ultras is always that 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. window when it's like you're by yourself. It's dark. You don't think you're going to make it. And there's no, there's no end. You just feel like I can't do this. Once the sun comes up, it's you battle, right? And then you're kind of back, right?
Yeah.
So you need to sleep a few times here and there. And Alfo there, Alain Fodor, Marco's brother, I don't know what happened. I'd love to ask him. I saw his brother tonight, and I hung out with his brother all weekend. His two brothers, and I think they were saying he's not like us, where like he just goes and runs for fun, right? Like he'll do 100K just for fun, or this was just kind of for fun for him. So said it took him 58 minutes to do the 6 loop. And he just said, nah, I'm not going on. So he just stopped. So I'd love to know. I don't think he had a goal to do 12 hours or 18 hours or anything. I know that for me, if I would do it, my goal would definitely be 24 hours, the first one I'd try. And I know maybe I won't make it, but that would be my goal. If I end up racing one in Scotland, I'm going to set a limit because I can't leave my family for an entire day.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you should. I don't know if you should do it.
What if I just went 6 hours just to get a feel for what it's like?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's an idea because that'd be easy.
Yeah, it'd be like a long.
I mean, it's 25 miles, but still.
Yeah.
For some reason, when I see 6, I feel like it's not a lot, but then I think it's 25 miles. It's like.
It's like your Frozen Falcon, right?
I only did 20 at Frozen Falcon, but felt like it was a million.
That's what I mean. Like that, it was hot yesterday. It was a tough day, and
yeah. It's not flat. Like it's Anyways,
did you stay? A guy did how many miles?
He did like 60 miles. That's amazing. He did 14 loops. 14 loops. That's crazy.
56. Yeah, just about 60 miles. That's awesome. That's almost 100K. Good for him. He's new, I think, to the sport or to the endurance sport for sure.
Yeah. No, I didn't know he ran. Why? Obviously, he played a lot of soccer, so probably built it.
Yeah, he was a very good soccer player from what I recall, and he won like Coach of the Year in the soccer league. He took the team to the championship or whatever, the soccer team for St. Boniface University. Yeah, he's a good guy. So your next race, Charlie, I just want to make sure I know it's mid-July, right?
Yeah. So Hecla Triathlon, half Ironman.
Yeah, it's not a triathlon; it's a half Ironman.
Well, yeah, it's a form of it's a triathlon. Yeah,
I know, but it's longer than that.
Yeah, it's longer. Yeah, but half Ironmans are like half marathons are to marathons.
Okay.
They're like 1/5 as hard about. I'm kidding, but yeah, no.
No.
It feels like not as an Ironman. I don't know what the feeling is when you start an Ironman. You know it's going to be long. You know it's like it's daunting, I guess is maybe the word, right?
Well, it's a whole day. You know you're in for a whole day.
While a half Ironman seems more like a race, a bit more like a race. Like you can kind of race it, you know? So.
And the pace you're going, like you're going to do like a 2-hour bike.
No. I'm hoping I'm fast though, but not 2 hours, but
you'll do 2.5 or whatever.
I'm hoping 220 something, 220.
Yeah, 220 on the bike.
222 would be maybe more realistic, but obviously I always have stretch goals. But I did 38 last year and I was very, very happy with it. So
short course.
It wasn't a short course last year. It was a real course.
Time. That's a great time.
30, so I did like a 38.50, sorry, or 38, almost 39. And I was really happy with it. So I think if I am anywhere near there, I'd be happy, super happy. Maybe 40 is probably more realistic because
40 to 20. That's 3 hours.
And then maybe a 135 for the half.
135 plus, let's say 5 minutes of transition, so 140. So 440. Am I close?
That'd be pretty fast. Yeah, I'd be extremely happy with that. Yeah. So that'd be 18.
Like you don't want to not break 5.
Yeah, I want to be faster than I was last year. I was 4:58, and I feel like I've got like close to 10 on the bike, and I've got like 8 on the run. But I might lose some on the swim, so we'll see.
Yeah, your biking is off the charts right now. It's so good. Like I biked today, and I was thinking of the pace and the power you're doing. It's really good. It's really impressive. Your biking. It's really good. I did like I had a 2-hour bike today, 2 hour 15 minutes.
You did 2 hour 15 minutes today? Wow. That's the longest bike ride for you in a while, eh?
Yeah, I've only been on the bike 3 times in a year. So
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
It's my longest bike ride in a while for sure.
You know what? The other thing is amazing about my how good the biking feels for me right now is that like I don't get sore, like in the butt or anything. Like how when you start you get like this muscle soreness in places.
Oh yeah,
I feel like I after 3.5 hours I'm good. So like I'm not gonna feel it on a half Ironman.
Yeah, that's out the window now for you. Like that's not a thing.
Like, I don't. Yeah, I feel like I don't really feel it. Like my shoulder, like my upper body gets a little tired at the end, but besides that, it's pretty good.
Yeah. What did I do today? I did 46 miles or 47 miles, something like that, in 2 hours 15. So average like 21 or something like that.
Yeah, and that's pretty fast.
He's doing like 4 miles an hour faster than me on
no, I don't go. No, I don't. I only when I'm going good, I'm like 23. So yeah.
Okay, but I mean, what killed my average is the cool down, the 20-minute cool down, the 20-minute warm up. I was like, no, I'm not cooling down. I'm gonna keep going because I didn't want the stats to be shitty.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, when I go through the city, the last 20 minutes, I just have to. But I do some sprints. I practice my sprints between the lights.
So that's 2 weeks away.
Yeah, 2 weeks away. Looking forward to it.
Okay, yeah, I'm excited for you too.
Except the only thing is, I sometimes I remember how hard I worked in St. Malo and how hard I worked last year. Like, it's still not easy. It's gonna be hard, but
yeah, but it's exciting.
Yeah. Should be fun.
Yeah, and Heckler's a beautiful course.
Yeah, and my run today was really hard, but it all actually kind of gave me hope that I can actually run half decently. So it's good.
I ran on the weekend in St. Lob at the St. Lob 200 where we built go-karts and raced them. By the way, check this out, stlob200.com. The Charlie's, you're what, vice president or something of the board?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it's a charitable organization, a charitable event where you build, you take parts from scrap and engines and whatever, and you build a go-kart on the first day, and then the second day you race it. And this kind of your event, you're a big part of it. But anyways, I was running in St. Lob, and I was reminded to last year, a year ago exactly. I was getting ready for Ironman. I think I did a 5.5 hour bike at St. Lob 200, and then I went out for my brick run. And I crushed my brick run. I felt so good on that brick run. It gave me renewed optimism that I was going to do extremely well. And it was like what do you call it? Like a positive memory that's attached to whatever. Like I was just happy. I was just happy when I was jogging because it reminded me of my jog last year.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like, I don't know what that's called, but it was just such a positive experience that I was jogging. So it was good to go back to St. Lob to jog, except the horseflies. Oh my God. I saw
Joe. Oh yeah. They were bad too. They were bad too in Marchand this morning. Oh I was doing like 640 miles at some point, and they're still I don't know, they know how to circle around. They keep circling. So I was like trying to grab them sometime with my hands and like.
Yeah, you're swatting them away. You're hoping to hit some, and then every once in a while your one's landing on you, so you got to deal with that. And it's for sure harder to run with horseflies than without.
Yeah, maybe, but it is distracting a little bit.
Well, the heart rate's higher because you're moving more. You have to do this, right? I had my
I did catch one out of the air today.
Yeah, and I saw Jayla from LeBroke put a post. She went and running in Sandylands, and that was Saturday morning, same morning, like we were running next to each other, I guess, without knowing. She posted about how brutal the horseflies were, and I know they were bad. They were so bad, and you were in Marchand.
But they're good at circling. Like, how do they do that? Like, because you're like moving,
Yeah, it's almost like one of the laws of physics there. I guess they just know what pace you're going, and they just keep going.
Yeah, they alternate their circles.
When I was jogging my 100K, there was a bird that followed me.
Circling. She was waiting.
Circling bird.
It was a vulture. It was a vulture.
This guy's going to die. I'm not dying. This guy's going to die. Okay, we'll leave it there for today, guys. That was fun. It's been a while since we recorded. Real high optimism for Charlie on this half Ironman. You're
not too much. No, not too much.
Not too much optimism because okay.
Optimism. Okay, so say last really good value tip to race better. Go in with low expectations. Okay. I feel like if you put too much pressure on yourself, you don't race as well.
No, but you're always good at setting a goal and then a stretch goal and then a absolute.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. So, but I guess the key thing there is you kind of got to forget about your goal once. You got to go with your feel once the race starts and like be in the moment, I think, right? Like, I don't know. Yeah. To kind of how to get the best out of a race, like I feel like I've had really bad races sometimes where I've had expectations and right away you kind of think you can't meet them and then your mental state's completely gone. So you need to avoid that, right?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like on my 100K race. It didn't matter. All of a sudden it mattered. I wanted to break 12 hours and I cared about breaking 12 hours. And this doesn't mean anything to anyone. Like, why is it important to you? So I had to let that go for a bit.
Yeah.
And like, so what I like about 100K race is it's 62 miles. So it's basically, if you do 11-minute miles, you're pretty much 11 hours. If you do 12-minute miles, you're pretty much 12
hours.
Oh,
is it really? Like, it's pretty close?
It's close because to 62 miles.
60. So if it would be 60.
If it was 60, it'd be exactly
right on the nose.
7-minute miles, 7 hours, 8. So my average running time ended up being, it took me 11 hours and 39 minutes of running time. And then my total time was 12:22. So I think I averaged 7 minutes per kilometers or 11 and change of running time when I was running. But 12, a little less than 12 because 12 would be 12:24 and I came in at 12:22. So just under 12-minute mile all in with the stops. And you remember when we talked about on this podcast how some people said they couldn't run at 12-minute miles? It's too slow. Someone was saying that.
Yeah. Well, Frank told me.
Bullshit.
Our cousin Frank.
Bullshit.
He told me he couldn't run 10-minute miles.
No, that's BS. Like I ran 10.5, 11s, 11:30s, 12s, and I was able to do it. So you just slow down. You just jog slower.
Anyway. Yeah, it's just hard to. It's a programming thing in your brain where you think you can't go slower. I don't know what it is, but yeah.
Anyways, it was good. So you're gonna keep your 7 days a week still. You're swimming, biking, running still hard. You're in your taper now, I would imagine.
Not quite. I got one more hard work.
I thought this weekend was your.
Yeah. I mean, I think because I didn't get that much, I think I've got like a half week. So I have one hard run workout on Tuesday, and then it's kind of taper pretty much.
Yeah, but the taper like a week out for a half isn't like, it's still like probably 2.5 hours on the bike next weekend.
Yeah, 2:15.
Yeah,
but it's going to be way easier than what I've done. Yeah, so it's going to be. I feel like I'm hoping I get a bit of a boost on the bike, even for being slightly fresher, because I've been 160 miles a week for a while here. So on the bike.
That's awesome. And you're going to be ready.
But yeah. But congrats on the 100K. And
thank you. Happy birthday yesterday. Happy birthday to me today. Thank you guys. If you want to help us out for a birthday present, one thing you guys could do is just go and give us a 5-star review, rate us, Tell us how much you love the podcast. And if you have ideas for guests, we'd love to hear them. Feel free to DM us. Follow us on Strava, Charles Tetrault, Rob Tetrault, and feel free to DM us if you got ideas to make the podcast better. We'd love to hear from you. Anything else, Charlie?
Nope.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you in the next episode. Remember, more miles, less pace.